Next item on the list is going to be a lane that they're having some electrical issues with. I'm not 100% clear what exactly is going on. I got some conflicting information. One piece of information I got yesterday was that the machine would stay on, and they would have to turn it off through the circuit breaker. And the note on the board this morning says that the machine won't cycle. So when they trip the infrared ball detect, it doesn't cycle the machine and it doesn't score. And those are two very, very different things. So I think what I'm going to do, we're going to follow that plug for the cycle solenoid back to the wire channel. We're going to meter the cycle solenoid to see if it's good. They've got the older Frameworks ball racks here, and these cycle solenoids sometimes can get burnt up because the reset button on the ball rack up front gets stuck in the depressed position. Let's go ahead and unplug the cycle solenoid. Check leg to leg. 99.2 ohms of resistance on the across the solenoid coil. That should be good. Good enough to allow it to run properly. And that doesn't necessarily tie into the exact issue that is being described. But fail to trigger is a very real thing. So let's we'll swing around down to the ball detects and see if we can figure out if they might have an issue down there. So their ball detector looks good. I've got a amber indicator light on it, so I know it's seeing the reflector. If I break the beam with my hand, the light goes out. You won't hear anything click on the accelerator box, or not the accelerator box, the circuit box, because I've got the drop cord unplugged and powered off. There's no power in the circuit box. So this is okay so far. I don't know if it's going to come up on camera, but I can break the ball detect beam, and I can hear the relay click down in the camera board. So we've got a good path, at least from there. Got to poking around in this circuit box a little bit, and this wire concerns me just a little bit. I first noticed that there's no 1 amp fuse in the top of the circuit box. I haven't busted out the schematics yet, and I don't have them memorized, but I'm pretty sure that those two wires are supposed to have a fuse on the end of them, and not a jumper wire. The other thing is they've got a push button resettable 3 amp circuit breaker style here, and one of the legs has pulled off of that. I plugged it in and turned the breaker on, and nothing fired up, so that's why we're digging around in here a little bit. I've got all the mechanics rear switches set in the off position, and this thing is running. This motor contactor's pulled in when it should be open. If I shut the circuit breaker off, the contactor opens up. So I'm willing to bet somewhere down here on this motor start relay we have a couple of contact points that have welded themselves shut. Let me get some lighting rearranged here, and we'll get in there and take a good close look. It's going to be kind of difficult to see this on camera, but if I get right in there, This contact point, kind of in the middle of the frame, is closed. The relay is not energized, but the spring on this contact is kind of stretched out and funky. So I'm wondering if it's welded together or if we just don't have enough spring pressure, spring tension to open this reed style relay switch up. Let's see what we can find out. Dig a look. Alright, I need to be abundantly clear here that the circuit breaker is in the off position and the drop cord has been unplugged from the machine. Do not do this unless you are electrically safe. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So if I manually engage the relay, it doesn't want to go anywhere. If I lift up slightly, you see that contact point open? Just like that. I have a bad motor start relay. Alright, we got our relay all worked out here. Breaker on. Rear switches on, off, on, off, on, off. I'd call that a victory. The last thing that we need to do to verify our repair is to break this ball detect beam and watch the machine cycle. There you go. It cycled.